I am Nur-aiman So for now we are going to tackle about Dadaism. Introduction to Dadaism. Dadaism, an art movement of European avant-garde in the early 20th century, born out of the disgust for the social, political, and cultural values of the time. In Zurich, Switzerland, it arose as the reaction to the World War I and the nationalism which led to the war, influenced by the other avant-garde movements. Dada is a colloquial frames the term the meaning hobby horse German the name Richard Holzebach is said to have found this term while sliding his paper knife throughout the dictionary, and the central premise behind this art movement was the response to the modern age. It diversified output involved performance art, poetry, photography, sculpture, painting, and collage. Many artists and writers during the First World War sought refuge from the conscription in Switzerland. Zurich was a melting put for this exile, and on the February 5, 1916, Hugobol and his partner Himi Hemmings opened the Cabaret Voltaire, a nightclub and an arts centre where artists called the exhibit their work to a backdrop of experimental music, poetry, reading, and the dance. It was art movement with the focus not on the generation of aesthetically pleasing objective but the work that offended bourgeois sensibilities and generated difficult questions about the society, role of artists, and the purpose of art. Dada artists use the ready-made everyday objective which the focus question about artistic creativity. However, Dada artists ultimately revolutionized the art the making of the future. History of Dadaism. Dadaism is the art movement which began in the Zurich 1916 and took over toward other night-sparing countries to the Berlin. Dadaism as the movement represent negative perception and reflection throughout from the world, which they reject the logic, reason, and aestheticism of the modern capitalist society, expressing Nancy's irrationality and anti-bourgeois protest in the works. It is the belief that Dadaism as the movement emerged from the period of the artistic and literary movement including Futurism, Cubism, and Expressionism. The movement started to remain in the century area of the Italy, France, and Germany respectively through the original differences to provide a piece for the differentiation and comparison. For example, literature was the mostly emphasis in the Zurich and political protests in the Berlin. Dadaism artists expressed their discontent with the violence, war, and nationalism through their works of art and literature. The movement was loosely organized with no central hierarchy, but it is they provide space after the First World War for the people to express their immediate reaction to the disparity, hatred, and useless political ambition. The early artwork were rampant, vigorous, and influential. They helped the artist to promote peace, the equitable quiescence in the society. But the later works were the least influential because of the perception that the later go implanted in the movement, including destruction of moral structure within the country. Dadaism artists use the poetry as a medium to attack the tradition conception, including structure. Others interpret of sound the meaning of language through their work to emphasize the change in the society. Dadaism as the movement was the historically the foundation of the movement like surrealism in 1924. This is example of Dadaism. Artist the Marcel Duchamp, this work is the classic example of Dada. It revenge toward the tradition art that Duchamp transformed achieved the postcard of Mona Lisa 1517, painting which the head only recently been returned to the lawyer. After it was stolen in 1911, while it was the already now work of the art, the publicity from the death ensured that it become one of the most revered and famous work of art. With the capital A on the postcard, Duchamp drew a mustache and the goatee onto Mona Lisa piece and labeled LHOOQ. If the letters are the pronounced as one where the saying L A sad EQ EE, which the loosely translate as she has hat has. So again, the jump managed to the offend everyone, while also posing questions that challenge artistic values, artistic creativity, and overall the canon. That's all.